All right, let's jump right in. We're going to put you in the shoes of a lead quality assurance engineer who is having, well, probably the worst Monday morning imaginable. We're going to walk through a super realistic crisis from a Capstone project and see exactly how AI can help turn that absolute chaos into clarity.
Ugh, and there it is. You know that email. The one that makes your stomach drop. It's not even 9 a.m. You're on your first sip of coffee, and this bomb lands in your inbox. The pressure is on, big time. The deployment failed, the bosses need answers, like now. And there's a huge client demo tomorrow that's now completely up in the air.
So yeah, this is you. You are in the hot seat. The clock is ticking, the pressure is mounting, you've got a mountain of test results, log files, and a whole lot of questions. Your next move is critical. It could make you the hero of the day, or, have you updating your resume. So what's the plan?
Okay, your first move isn't to panic and start randomly fixing things. Nope, it's time to put on your detective hat. This is phase one. We're going to triage this mess and find the root cause. We need to figure out what's really going on, and we're going to use our AI partner to sift through all the evidence way faster than any human possibly could.
So what are we dealing with exactly? This. 120. That's the total number of automated tests that ran overnight. This isn't some small little test run. It's a pretty serious suite. And somewhere in these 120 tests, things went very, very wrong.
Now here's where the story starts to get interesting. When you break it down, you see this. Now, if you show this chart to a project manager, they're going to see 20 failures, and their hair is going to catch on fire. They'll think the whole application has collapsed. But you know better. The real story isn't just the number 20. It's what's inside that number.
And that leads us to the single most important question you can ask in this situation. Because a test failure does not automatically equal a bug. It's just a symptom, It's like, is the patient actually sick, or is the thermometer just busted? We've got to separate the real problems from all the noise.
And boom, this is where AI is an absolute game changer. Trying to dig through logs to sort out these 20 failures by hand, that could take hours, maybe your whole morning. But by feeding all those test logs and historical data into an AI tool, you get this beautiful breakdown in minutes. And just look at that. Out of 20 failures, only 4 are actual critical bugs in the application. We now know exactly where to focus.
Let's just quickly talk about that biggest slice of the pie, flaky tests. If you've worked in QA, you know these are the bane of your existence. They pass one day, they fail the next, and nothing in the code is even changed. They're just noise. And this is something AI is ridiculously good at, spotting those inconsistent patterns over time so you can flag them and get them out of your way.
Okay, so you're in the middle of this fire drill, trying to solve the crisis, and of course, because this is how life works, a totally new challenge lands on your desk. We have to switch hats, going from reactive firefighter to proactive architect. It's time to build a test plan for a brand new feature.
And here it is, the user story. As a loan officer, I want a dashboard so I can prioritize my work. Seems simple enough, right? Pretty straightforward. But you and I both know, as experienced QA pros, the biggest risks are always hiding in requirements that look this simple.
So I want you to just take a look at that again. What's not being said here? What are the hidden assumptions? Our job isn't just to test the words on the screen, it's to test the gaps between the words. We have to think about all the things that could go wrong.
And here's that AI superpower again. Instead of you having to rack your brain for an hour, you can just feed this user story to an AI and say, hey, play devil's advocate, poke holes in this for me. And instantly, it spits out these brilliant, critical questions. What does pending even mean? What happens when the list is empty? How fast does it need to be? These are the questions that prevent bugs before a single line of code ever gets written.
This really gets to the core of what great test planning is all about. Anybody can test the happy path, where the user does everything perfectly and the system works exactly as designed. But the real pros, we live in the negative scenarios. We have to intentionally try to break things. What happens if the network drops? What happens with bad data? That's where you find the really nasty bugs.
All right, deep breath. We've triaged the failures, we've got a plan for the new feature. Now comes the moment of truth. That 2 p.m. deadline is looming, and we have to report back to leadership. This is where we have to translate all of our technical detective work into a story that a business leader can actually understand and act on.
So, let's say during our investigation, we found this little gem popping up in the logs for 7 of the failed tests. Now, if you just copy and paste this into an email to your project manager, their eyes are just going to glaze over. It's technically correct, sure, but it's completely useless to them. It has no context, no impact.
So, you have to be a translator. This skill, right here, is what separates a good QA lead from a great one. You take the technical jargon, database connection error, and you translate it into business impact. The system can't talk to the database, which means no one can process any loans. See? Now everybody in the room gets it.
And all of that analysis leads directly to this, the final answer for leadership. The big question was, can we demo tomorrow? And notice, our answer isn't a simple yes or no. It's yes with conditions. This shows that we are in complete control. We understand the problem, we have a plan to contain it, and we've even found a way to salvage the client meeting. This is foresight, not panic.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. What did we actually just accomplish here? This whole crisis wasn't just about fixing a few broken tests. No, it was about demonstrating a completely modern approach to quality assurance, one that's strategic, that's collaborative, and that's supercharged by AI.
And really, this whole thing boils down to these 4 pillars. 1. AI is a tool. It's your co-pilot, not the pilot. 2. The answers you get are only as good as the questions you ask. Prompting is a skill. 3. You still have to use your brain. Don't just blindly trust the AI's output. And 4, maybe the most important of all, none of the technical stuff matters if you can't clearly explain it to other humans.
I love this quote from the project manual because it just hits the nail on the head. This isn't about AI coming to take your job. It's about using AI as a partner, a tool that handles the tedious, repetitive work so that you can focus on the stuff that humans are great at: critical thinking, strategy, and judgment.
So I'm going to leave you with one last question to chew on. I want you to think about your own team and your own processes. Are you stuck in a reactive loop, just finding and reporting bugs after the fact? Or are you shifting left, using tools and critical thinking to get ahead of problems just like we did today? Are you just finding bugs, or are you actually preventing them? Because that shift, that's the whole game right there.